work is one that shines lights her. She is a light herself in her community. And again, I'll let Esther tell her own story and offer her own suggestion. But Esther Kanu from Sierra Leone.
Good evening, everybody. I want to start first of all by saying that I'm very proud and happy to be part of this important conference. So I would like to thank the organizers of this conference for giving me the opportunity to participate. May I also give thanks to Matthew and his team, the Esther Echo Foundation, for connecting me to the Change Pilot Program. My role here is to talk to you young people about my challenges in life and how I was able to overcome these challenges so that they might learn from my experience to assist with their own projects here in Canada. I will give you a brief history of my organization, its successes and challenges. But first, I'll start with myself. I am Esther Kanu. I am in my mid-30s. I was born in Freetown, the capital city of Sierra Leone, in a small country in the West Africa. I am proud to be a Sierra Leonean. I have 3 kids, Samuela, Agnes, and Samuel Jr. May I hasten to inform you that life personally for me has not been all smooth, as there were lots of hurdles on my way to success. I believed I do not share that sentiments alone, but there are others in here who may out there have similar stories like mine. To start with, I hail from a very poor family background, and it was not easy for my parents to see me through school, as we were 8 in numbers to our parents, and I happens to be the 3rd, so I had to go the extra mile to see myself in school. I was faced with traditional challenges, as tradition does not allow girl child to attend formal school. This was my first and biggest challenge in my life because I was determined to be educated in the midst of poverty and tradition. As young as I was selling for my mother so that she can be in place to run the home. I was also going around doing odd jobs for people in substance in the society in order for me to raise funds to help my parents, as our schooling takes a lot. I was keeping whatever they give me, and at the end, I used to pay my fees and purchase some learning materials just to see myself through school. And by the grace of God, I was able to go through without selling my body or making money in the form of prostitution. It's a pity to know that at age 14, I was never given the opportunity to have a taste of joy in my teens. I was being monitored wherever I go because someone has already paid for my bride price. So even though I was going to school, yet I was like living as an housewife, as my parents has already given their consent to the man who happens to be my current husband. I gave birth to my first daughter, Samuela, at the age of 18, with little or no money to eat or survive. One other challenge that I was able to overcome by myself was the female genital mutilation, which is the transition that's widely practiced across Africa. So I was forced to go through it, but I vowed that once none of my children will go through it, and I'm among those women that are strongly advocating against it in human tradition. At the age of 19, being that I've dropped my formal schooling, I had to enter a skills training center where I was trained as a trainer for the period of 8 months with no day off. So with this background, I would like to say that I do not need someone to explain to me about feelings and emotional torture faced by hailing from a poor background, especially in Africa. because I know exactly what they are going through because I have been in there, and so I know it all. So that is why I am very passionate to help as much people as I can, because I hate to see one going through some emotional torture that I went through, because I am sure that most of them will get tired halfway, and they will end up into prostitution just so that they can survive. It is with this experience that I founded Women in Action Development Project. As most of you are aware, my country, Sierra Leone, suffered one of the most devastating wars ever fought in the history of Africa. Since the start of the war up to this date, some 60% young women and teenage girls went through some form of violence, rape, exploitation, abuse. 45% of 7 to 16 years suffered degradation, molestation, poverty, rejection, and marginalization. This situation prevalence in Sierra Leone actually led to the foundation for the Women in Action Development Project. I and 8 other women conceived of the idea of forming the organization to serve as a catalyst and vehicle to empower women and vulnerable girls living within the west part of Sierra Leone. United we are with the passion of helping these women and girls. We work relentlessly to see that we improve the immense situation that the women we are facing within these communities, such as poverty, unemployment, frustration, not going to school. These situations have worsened as a result of the poor economic state of Sierra Leone. And honestly, it is not easy to run this organization without the needed funds. Our organization is a registered organization with the government, Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children Affairs, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, and the Freetown City Council. Women in Action works towards the advancement and empowering of male and young female youth in a bid to make them become self-reliant and enable them become meaningful contributors to nation building. Our organization works also to address issues that include peace building, expanding civic participation, fostering social change, and increased access to education. The organization was founded in 1996 during the war era. During the inception of our organization, a survey was carried out, and it revealed that 60% of women and girls within these communities were single mothers, parents, and some percentages of women and girls practice prostitution as a means of survival. It was further recorded that most of the male youth were unemployed and idle, thereby making themselves revert to stealing and other dreadful crimes like drug peddling and addiction, and we are in need of some quick attention as there was the problem of poverty, unemployment, literacy, and health hazard. As a way of helping to address these problems, my organization has been embarking on pursuing skills training in different components such as catering and food processing, cosmetology, tailoring, arts and crafts, computing, and we've also added electrical installation, motor mechanic, and all the likes. Because some of these courses in Africa, women were shying away from these courses. So now we are encouraging women to come on board and do some of these courses with a view to enhance and empower our target beneficiaries with a sight to make them self-reliant and enable them to be useful members to their communities and in the nation as a whole. I am pleased to inform you that hundreds of trainees have graduated in the Skills Training Center, and 85% of them are now being employed in their fields of study, hereby helping them to raise funds, income for themselves, their children, and even to settle some family issues. Others are self-employed. That is, they have established their own businesses and their businesses are doing even well, though we have few that are not yet seeking employment, but we are hopeful that they might get one within the shortest possible time. I believe you will all agree with me that there is no success without challenges. And so there are lots of challenges that we have faced as an organization since we started it. I was fighting it very hard to see that the organization survived, to a point that was that my husband asked me to drop off the projects or to help him with the house running. It was another big blow for me and the vision. So I asked myself whether I should abandon these women and girls who might want to go back to their former ways of survival, which is selling their body, or I give up my marriage and continue to help these girls. It was as if I was between the devil and the deep blue sea. So I decided to explain to my pastor about my problems. He told me in few words, which I will never forget. He said, if this vision is from God, then it will never die, and you will not lose your marital home. He continues to say that if it is of God's project, then even if I abandon it, then someone from nowhere will take it up. So he asked me to go into a week fasting and see what God will do. Ladies and gentlemen, ever since that prayer and fasting, things begin to change dramatically as the project begins to have a turnaround. It begins to attract some external funds. So I want to thank God for today and always, because he has always been there for me and the project. May I inform you also that separately from the skills training component, the organization is also currently paying fees and providing learning materials with the little funds we have for over 200 less privileged girls. As we decided to be capturing them, the slogan is, capture them young. When they are young, you'll be able to nurture them before they grows up. So we'll not have the problem of prostitution and the likes of it. The scheme known as Women in Action Kiddies Foundation. To support these young children, the program will also include the creation of a Kiddies Wonderland, a park for kiddies, for children. In Africa, children do not have the opportunity to play, as I was a victim. So I decided that the children will have place to play during their holidays. They will go around and have the opportunity to play. We also have the agricultural component, which deals mainly with vegetable and some cash crops at the village few miles away from the city. We are trusting God for donors. I want to say a big thank you, and I want you to help me thank the Esther Echo Foundation for helping me throughout this time. They've been there for us, helping us. I just hope and pray that there will be more donors that will come on board to help Esther Echo with this heavy burden we are carrying. To my young brothers and sisters who are looking forward to start their own projects, this is my advice to you. First, have in mind that things might not always go as planned. What you need first of all to help you sustain the project is the passion for what you want to embark on. Because without passion, then the smallest hurdle that the project will face might bring it to an end. Also, what you need are the like-minded people around you, people that have the same vision and passion, people who will be ready to go the extra mile with you to see the project stand the test of time, people who will not abandon you when the going gets tough. Finally, what you need is to conduct a survey in the area or community you want to start your business or project in. In order for you to know the felt need of the people living in the community, you might want to work. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with these few words. Dreams does not always come true. So you have to transform your dream into vision by making plans. And when you fall, don't you ever stay down there, but try to get up and move on and shake off the dust. Thank you very much.
Wow, what joy that comes out of, I mean, Esther is such a powerful person and yet such a, I think that she says she lost her childhood. She never did, actually. The childhood is still in her. You should have seen her in the snow up at Whistler. and on Wednesday, when the students who have been on the Change Pilot weekend are going in front of a panel of judges, sort of like Dragon's Den, but we call it Eagle's Nest because we're helping them go out a little bit. And they have some money that we have there to help fund them, to help them start their projects off. Esther will be there that night as well. And I will tell you this. First, I got to give a plug. Remember I said whenever I have a mic? Esther has brought some lovely material from the work that has been done back home, and you might want to talk to her afterwards about that. But every time she shows up in a more amazing outfit, and I don't know what's going to happen at the Eagle's Nest. I can't even wait for that. So thank you again, Esther. That was great.